Yeah.
you know, and show your scars to the world and say,
Yeah.
hey, look at what I survived.
Yeah.
You know, and where does your courage come from to do that?
Yeah.
Like, where does your courage come from to do that?
Gosh, I guess like I described that story, it was like kind of like a gamble.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I was like, oh, I was thinking, oh, this wasn't a good idea. I shouldn't listen to my mom. She ain't going to college. She don't know what this is like. You start thinking yourself through all of those things. But like I told you, being in those other things early.
Yeah.
So for example, I ran track and field like all the way through college. So you'll be at the track meet and you glance to the right in the stands and it's probably 20,000 people in the stands. And when the gun goes off, you could be frozen by fear, or you could start to program yourself. I've been practicing my whole life for this race. I'm prepared. The only thing that would be missing is that I connect my mental capacity to the physical fitness that I've been training to get close to. And being exposed to that at a very young age makes you able to do it at a higher level. So for example, I've running track all those years, I've been tripped, I've fallen, I've gotten dead last, I've broken records, whatever it might be. And you know that nobody is like, oh man, are you the little girl that got 7th last week? What they start to remember is like, hey, I saw you really push through that race. I see you working at practice. And then you start to get a few less last place, a few more third, and then you always first, then you undefeated, then you got a scholarship, then you Division I, and then so you start to say like, okay, this is a pattern of doing what is scary consistently to the best of my ability makes me lose less, win more.
Exactly.
And the difference between the person in the back and the person in the front, not that I'm so much more faster, is that I've been training myself mentally to perform at a high level, which is really what life is. Performing in your calling at a very high level.
I could not have said that any better. This is why we have
this is why
you on the show.
The Black Girl Magic meet up. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. And I think, you know, I push people, especially like my clients, my mentors, I push them hard because I push myself hard.
Yeah.
And I'm someone, I don't like to feel fear. I don't like to feel like frozen in anything. I'm like, if it scares me, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't like being afraid.
Yeah.
And it means running towards the things that look risky and look like they may hurt us. And one of the things that stops people a lot of time is they have memories of when they were hurt before. How do you re-engage in life after being disappointed, having heartbreaks, having setbacks?
The matters of the heart.
Matters of the heart. When trying to re-engage for things that we really want.
Right.
You know, but we have this fear of getting hurt again.
I'm a perfect example of that, both fortunately and unfortunately, especially like in our demographic. Again, a lot of people that know me personally know that I'm divorced. I was married like right out of college, super young. You know, that's my boo, I'm in love, whatever. And so you posed a few questions to me before we began, and one of them was like, what is the hardest obstacle you've ever had to face? People would be like, was it divorce? It wasn't divorce, it was getting remarried. So
I hear that.
Yeah. So
I hear that.
And again, it's because it's harder to be unsuccessful in an area and then say you're going to try again. But I believe my pastor said, like, how do you know you're ready to do something again? And it's when you can do the same thing that hurt you and do it with like hope and confidence that it won't end up the same.
Yes.
And that any type of like heartbreak are designed, if you are a believer biblically, to freeze us where we are, so that you don't make it to the destiny or the promise for the person, the relationship, the promised land that you were meant to get to. If he can cut it off early and cripple you with fear, then you never get there. But if something didn't work and the word says that only better is ahead, then you gotta keep walking to find your better, because you're gonna leave your promised land like many people do, being in the wilderness or going back to what broke you out of like fear. So,
and a lot of people allow that fear to rob them of their future.
Yes. And that I am more fearful of being robbed of my future than I am of getting my heart broke. So you just have to say again, like, what am I willing to risk to get what could be my ultimate reward? And I'm not a risk taker. So, but if the beauty that he has for me, that he has for you, in success, love, relationship, family, legacy, is on the other side of the person that broke my heart, where would I rather be?
Where would you rather be?
I'd rather jump to the other side and give it a shot. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and you know, it's kind of like the question of, you know, what do you have to lose?
Right.
You know, because when you're sitting in fear, when you're sitting in doubt, when you're sitting in negativity, you're not gaining anything by staying there.
Right.
I think a lot of people have the misconception that it'll be easy.
Yeah. No, it's hard every day. And a thing that I learned, and if for anybody who can relate to this, and even Brittany in her profession being able to teach others but finding it difficult to relay it back to yourself, is that is really the nature of like faith and trusting God. Because if you were capable of doing all things without his help, he wouldn't be God.
No.
So trust after heartbreak or vulnerability after disappointment, those things are our weaknesses.
Yes.
And if he is made strong in all the places that we were weak, those are the areas that you lean on him the most.
Exactly.
And those are the areas where he don't just like hold your hand, like he'll pick you up and catapult you to a beautiful place if you will let him.
Yeah.
But we be like, no.
I'd rather not. I'll stay over here.
But I know what's going on over here, but you don't, you know what I'm saying? It could be the promise.
It could be so much better.
Yeah, it could be bad, but it could be the promise.
Right, right. And I have seen that the people, which like, I'm passionate about certain things, and it breaks my heart when I see people who are so gifted and so talented, and they've been hurt, they've been disappointed, they've been let down, and so instead of pursuing and moving forward, they take steps back.
Yeah.
And it hurts me because I'm like, you have no idea what your gift was meant to be and what your gift was meant to do, and who you were to become. If you stay engaged, if you stay committed, you know. And I have learned that the places where you are meant to change the world the most is exactly where you're going to be hurt. Oh yeah, exactly. That's the only place you'll have a story to tell. But we all know, I'm sure you as being a human being and a therapist, the gap in that statement is that it's easier said than done. Oh, in every environment you're told, but you're a champion and you got the spirit of a winner and you are a gladiator. But a lot of times what's missing in those households from those skills is the practical steps to engage this amazingness that you claim is inside of me. Like you say, well, just keep waking up. They like, I'm waking up and then I want to go back to sleep. What does that look like? What does that mean? Right. Yeah, I'm definitely with you. Yeah. A lot of people don't have the skills. Yeah. Or they don't know where to get the skills. Yeah. Or they think that the skills are something like phenomenal that only certain people have access to. And like I described, when you are nervous or afraid, it's not that like, oh, have a PhD in public speaking and fear control. It's that one day my heart was beating out of my chest and I just grabbed the mic and started talking. And the next time I did it, it was a little bit easier. Right. And then you look back and you've done it 50 times and each time it gets less and less painful. Right. That's the only difference. It was nothing magical that made it happen. Right. It's just that I didn't stop doing it. Right. Hopefully you saw on my website and on my Instagram, I posted one of the best blogs that I wrote during this quarantine season was about creative anxiety. And it was when you are doing something that you